Hello YouTube, Fuzz here, welcome back to Final Fantasy IX Excalibur II playthrough, and for those following along with Thomas's guide, then this episode is going to cover the section known as D2-15. And I've got to be honest, this was probably my least favourite episode that I've had to do so far. I just found it really frustrating. The RNG never seemed to be in my favour, especially in regards to the forced encounters that we have to put up with, and you're going to probably see a little bit of that as we go through here. But a lot of these battles I had to restart many times, so what you're seeing might not be perfect attempts, but they're attempts where I was satisfied enough to just continue on. So the first thing you're going to have to do is encounter one of these dragon zombies, or Draken zombies. And the reason for that is you need to get Dagger into zombie status. So what you want to do when you get one of these battles is throw a tent with Zidane first of all onto the Dragon zombie. Now you'll see that Zidane's tent didn't work, so I've thrown a tent now with Iifa, so you can have 2 attempts. If it doesn't work, then you'll want to reload and try again. You'll want Dagger to cast Shell on herself, and you'll want Vivi to cast Blizzard on the whole party in order to kill them. The result you want is for Dagger to be left alive by herself with Shell status. Now, so long as you've got your character set up as I explained in the previous episode, and you can see then the tent worked this time, then there's a good chance that Dagger is going to survive the Dragon Breath, I think it's called. I believe it's called the Dragon Breath, or something along those lines anyway. Zombie Breath, that's what it's called. Which will put her into zombie status, but as I say, keep her alive. Now, because we've thrown a tent on him, and he's silenced and blinded, he shouldn't be able to hit Dagger very easily with his other abilities. There is a chance he can kill her, and you'll have to start again. In fact, it probably took me about 15 attempts to get this down perfectly, which is really annoying. But even if you've got the PS4, cheats now that you can use, you still want to do this battle properly, otherwise you're going to end up getting experience, which we really do not want to do. We're so close now, guys, to finishing the level 1 portion of this particular walkthrough. I think there's about 2 more sessions, 1 or 2 more sessions after this, and then we can actually start gaining experience and not worry about losing out on maxing stats. So I know we've all worked hard, but hopefully the reward soon is going to pay off. Right then, after that battle then, your forced encounter with the zombie, you'll want to go ahead and begin resurrecting your team. Now, to start with, you're only going to want to resurrect and heal Zidane. If you're going to turn random encounters off as I am right now, then you can go ahead and resurrect everyone. But if not, you're probably going to have to face a few more of these particular enemies. And for that, you'll just want Zidane so that he can protect Dagger with his Protect Girls ability, and she can then finish off the encounters for you. But in terms of other equipment, make sure that Garnet has the Mithril Vest and Coral Ring and doesn't have the Magic Armlet equipped. And also make sure that Vivi has the Oak Staff, the Magician Robe, and the Peridot accessory. And just double check that Zidane has High Tide and Protect Girls activated in his abilities. Also, we are going to have to make sure that Zidane has access to his Trance Gauge, Gauge, but we'll be able to do that using the PS4 toggle. If you don't have that, then you'll need to get it close to being built up through random enemy encounters in this section. But I'm going to turn off my random enemy encounters for now. We have got some more forced encounters coming up, and I'm just going to go around and loot the treasures. So there's a few treasures to get, 2 of which we can only get once we've activated switches in various places. You saw the one up on the ledge there. And then as we head down to this next area, there's another switch we can use, which is going to bring another treasure, quite a nice treasure, out, which is the healing rod in the previous section. So switch that switch, and then might not want to use speed mode here, since it can, of course, make things harder to control. And then you'll be able to see this chest, which wasn't here before, with that rod. And now there's just 2 or 3 more items, 3 more items I believe, to grab from the previous area before we make our way into the next area. So one of those items is just an Iifa, which is in this hidden section of the wall here. And then continuing to make our way around. Don't go down there yet, or you'll end up going to the next area. You won't be able to come back and grab these 2 items. So the Lamia's Flute and a Remedy, I believe. Yep, so we'll just nab those, and then we're going to go ahead. This is where you'll want to resurrect Vivi and Iiko if you haven't resurrected them already. And make sure they're healed as well. But you might want to keep Dagger unhealed. In fact, keep Iiko unhealed as well, so that they'll be protected by Zidane should they get attacked in the next battle. So we're going to have a minute or so of cutscenes here. And then we're going to be thrust into a battle with either 2 zombies or 3 zombies. It's random. And I end up getting 3, although 2 is of course preferred. Okay, so the way you're going to take care of this battle is by throwing 3 elixirs onto the zombies themselves. Personally, I'll just use the toggle to have maximum damage, which does the same thing, but it just saves me going to the item menu and I get to keep my elixirs. But you can do either, it doesn't matter. One thing you will need to make sure, though, is that Dagger, with her zombie status and thus not being able to get experience, is the only member of the party alive at the end. So you'll want to kill 2 of the zombies here. And then you'll want to use Vivi to cast Thundara. And that's going to kill everybody except for Dagger. I did forget to mention, although you did see... did I forget to mention? I can't remember. But you did see anyway when I sorted their equipment out that we changed Dagger's accessory to the coral ring. And that'll just keep her alive through this Thundara magic here. And then once we've done this, we can go ahead and use her to finish off the battle. And that will avoid that experience, which is exactly what we're trying to do. Alright then, so after this battle, we've got another forced battle coming up with a Draco zombie. And we do need to just go ahead and get our team revived before we encounter it. The problem is that you only get a short window to be able to access the menu. So as you're going through this dialogue here, don't speak to Vivi, because that will stop you from being able to access the menu here, which we do need to do. Once we actually manage to get into the game menu, we'll want to resurrect Vivi and Iiko. But you're supposed to keep Zidane alive. Now, I resurrected him, which isn't a big problem, but Thomas's guide does say to keep him dead for the time being. And don't heal Vivi or Iiko. And the reason you don't want to keep Zidane alive at this point, because otherwise he's going to get hit with zombie breath, which is going to screw everything up. Fortunately for me, he doesn't. But yeah, just try and keep him dead if you don't forget to do that, as I just did. And so we're going to enter the battle itself once we've spoken to Vivi here. And it is quite a simple one, fortunately. All you really have to do is make sure that the characters are killed, the team is killed, before going ahead and using Dagger to throw an elixir, or using the maximum damage, doesn't matter which, on the enemy. Now, don't make the mistake that I made, which is thinking you can cast life on this enemy in order to kill it. That doesn't actually work. You do need to throw an elixir onto it in order to end the battle. So, if the worst comes to the worst, and Dagger is killed, or whatever, you can actually use Vivi to cast stop on this thing. It is susceptible to stop. But I didn't bother with that, because I did want to use Vivi just to knock everyone out quickly with the Thundara spell. Knowing, of course, that Dagger wouldn't be affected by that due to the fact that she has the accessory coral ring equipped, which stops that thunder damage. Indeed, absorbs it, which means she's now at full health. Now, fortunately, I did get a Thundara spell off the enemy here as well, so I didn't need to worry about having to restart this encounter, since she was healed instead of killed. And then we just throw that elixir on, and job done. The next force battle is over. So all we have left to do now is a boss battle in terms of enemy encounters. And it's fairly simple, the boss battle. So it was really up until this point that I restarted many times. But I've edited all that out for you. So hopefully, you know, it's just a little bit more seamless as you're watching. We finally reached the bottom of the Iifa tree. And there's 2 items we want to grab before doing anything. An elixir from that side, and then the Brigadine from over here. And now we're just going to sort out our equipment, but this is very important. First of all, just get your characters except Zidane resurrected. Or you can do that later as I'm doing, doesn't matter. But either way, you want to remove Zidane's equipment and equip him with the black belt, and then give him the HP plus 20% ability. The reason for that is we're going to get him resurrected to be able to use Lucky 7. Now use the life spell from Dagger to resurrect Zidane, because that will put him at exactly 37 health, so he can cast that spell. But we're not going to be using that until the next episode, which means we can't use Battle Assist in the next encounter, as that's going to heal Zidane. And then make sure he has the Brigandine, the Bandana, the Mithril Dagger, and the Reflect Ring and the Mithril Armlet equipped. And then for VV, just going to remove his Silk Robe here to give that to Dagger. Just sorting their equipment out at this point. And give her the Maiden's Ring as well. And then you'll want to make sure that both Garnet and Zidane have the ability up, abilities equipped. But don't do anything with Zidane's equipment, as I said, until you first resurrect him with 37 health, having given him the black belt and 20% HP ability. Oh, one final thing, use your magic tag to remove that zombie status at last from Dagger. Okay then guys, so we're pretty much done here. If we go over to the ledge at this point, then the next cutscene will commence, and once the screen's finished shaking and we get control of Zidane once more, we're going to make our way up to Dagger in order to kick off the next boss fight. A very easy one, actually. Okay, so all we need to do in this particular fight then is throw an elixir on the boss and be done with it. Just don't use Battle Assist, as I said previously, because you'll end up healing Zidane and then he won't have his health finished in a 7th number. And we will need to use that Lucky 7 ability in an upcoming fight in the next episode. So, but as you can see, my ATB gauges were quite low and I still managed to get the first attack off. So it shouldn't be a big problem, a nice easy fight in all honesty. And once we kill this guy, we can exit the Iifa tree and be back on the world map and save our game. And oh boy, is it a lovely opportunity to save. Alright then, so once we've saved, we've nearly finished with this episode now. We're going to put Zidane into the front row here. And then we're just going to swap a little bit of gear, give him the Exploder weapon and the Power Belt. And then make sure he has the following abilities. And they are Distract, MP Attack, Man Eater, and Ability Up. He should already have Ability Up. So just give him Distract, MP Attack, and Man Eater. And then once we've done that, You might want to keep random enemy encounters disabled while we're on the world map. We're going to want to head back to the Condi Peak mountain path and make our way through to the opposite side. Right, so our next destination is going to be Maiden Sari, so we're just going to make our way over there now. Here it is. And we can save and be done with this session. At last, as I said at the start, probably my least favourite of all of these sections we've covered so far in this playthrough. I didn't really enjoy it that much. The RNG really frustrated me, especially trying to get zombie status onto Dagger near the start. I just didn't enjoy that at all. It took too many attempts, in all honesty. But as I say, we're so close now to being able to gain experience that a lot of the frustrating aspects of this particular walkthrough are almost done with. Right then, so here's my time, 5 hours 27 minutes and 37 seconds. The target time is 5 hours and 51 minutes and 23 seconds, so we're just under 25 minutes ahead of schedule, gaining about 4 minutes in this particular episode. So thanks for joining me today, guys. Don't forget to leave a like if you appreciate this particular episode, and come back and join me next time as we continue on with our Excalibur II playthrough. Goodbye folks, take care.